Welcome, and thank you for joining the fourth in a series of Fireside Chats. I'm Robert McDowell, Choice's Chief Commercial Officer. At the last Fireside Chat, we heard from our CEO, Pat Pacious, about the public policy advocacy that Choice is doing for you and with you. We know you've been working hard and been resilient during the pandemic. And during this time, Choice has not stopped working hard, investing, or innovating on your behalf. Today we're going to focus on what actions Choice is taking to help deliver more guests to you. We'll also talk through what are some of the steps you can take to benefit from the rebound in travel. Joining me today are Doug Lisi, our Vice President of Revenue Management, and Michelle Cohen, Senior Director of Revenue Management. But before we start, I'd like to thank Coca-Cola for sponsoring this Fireside Chat. So Michelle, let me start with you. With vaccinations starting to really pick up, we're starting to see some recovery signs out there in the marketplace for our hotels. I know you recently hit the road. Maybe you can give us insight on what you saw.
Sure. So last week I was on spring break with my son in Moab, and I'm happy to report that the Choice Hotels parking lots were filled with the cars of other happy travelers. But more broadly, we are seeing signs of leisure travel recovery in the U.S. For the back half of March, U.S. weekly hotel occupancy levels approached 60%, which are numbers we haven't seen since before the pandemic. Weekend occupancy levels were even stronger. As part of the hotel sector, Choice properties are seeing similar signs of demand recovery, particularly for resort locations and small towns. As we think about key urban locations, those are also starting to see signs of recovery, particularly in the South. We're keeping a close eye on a few key indicators. The first thing are lead times. Guests are starting to plan and book their travel further in advance. Second is group travel. Group travel is starting to show signs of life, particularly in segments like crew, government, and sports. And then lastly, search trends. Google Trends showed the highest level of interest in the search term hotels in than they've seen over the last 2 years. All really exciting developments and something that our hotel owners have been looking for quite some time. Doug, maybe you can share what we're doing in the short term to ensure that we're getting our fair share.
Sure. So customers are traveling again, and we remain committed to the strategy that we deployed at the start of the pandemic, and that's driving customer demand and customer acquisition to our franchisees' hotels through aggressive investment in digital acquisition. We are providing customers both compelling price and point offers to ensure not only do they get back on the road again, but they stay with us throughout the year. And because we've been steadfast in driving revenue to our franchisees' hotels, we're looking at market dynamics at the hotel level as well as what supplier actions are. And when an opportunity shows up, we're investing in the right promotion at the right time to ensure that our franchisees can capture every dollar that's out there. And sometimes this means that those promotions are very last minute. On the flip side, where we do see markets with strong demand, we're asking our franchisees to strike while the iron is hot by opening up inventory, raising rates, and overselling their hotel.
So Doug, can you expand on what our owners can do to position themselves to capture this emerging demand? And as you say, strike while the iron's hot.
Well, Robert, there's about 4 or 5 things a franchisee can do to really take advantage of the rising demand. First, they need to make sure they keep all their inventory available. We know the past year has been incredibly challenging, and many of our franchisees have had to make difficult decisions regarding their staff. It's critical that they maintain their inventory and all rooms open for service. If your hotel has rooms out of order, consider adjusting your rates or providing a length of stay restriction in order to reflect the reduced available supply. Second, think about driving peak night ADR. Closely watch your peak night ADR trends and travel patterns for your hotel and apply strategies like length of stay restrictions, closing out discounts, or changing your house cancellation policy, or even using oversell that we launched in 2019. If you're not sure how to do this, ask your AD or RM. Also, there are many channels that a hotel can use to drive traffic to their hotel, but it's important to understand when to use them. During lean times, it makes sense to leverage OTAs, but on peak nights, it's critical to drive rate and close out higher cost channels like opaque. And let's face it, everyone is starting their search on Google these days. Online presence is important, and there's certain things that each of our franchisees could do to improve their online presence. First, look at online reviews. Make sure you're responding to them and providing honest and feedback to our customers. 2, think about updating your amenities. We know their amenities have changed throughout the pandemic, and it's important to provide clear expectations to the customer. If you have more questions about online presence, leverage our videos, our self-assessments, and our how-to guides to ensure that you're maximizing every opportunity online. And then finally, above all, maintain rate discipline. Avoid the temptation to use OTA extranet promotions. While they may seem helpful in the short term, they provide long-term damage to the customer and to your lower cost channel, choicehotels.com.
That's really great feedback. You know, one of the things I recognized through the pandemic that our hotels did really well is they maintained rate and they didn't discount. I think what you're saying is, as we're starting to see demand come back, it's a great opportunity to really look at that bottom line and try to drive top line ADR by raising your rates in the marketplace.
Exactly, Robert.
Speaking of driving rate, Michelle, our new revenue management system, Choice Max, just went live. Can you tell us how it's different from Smart Rates and how it's going to benefit our owners?
Sure. So we've had a lot of change over the past year, and we need to take this opportunity to do everything we can to gain an edge over our competition. So we're making an investment in one of the most advanced pricing decision engines in the industry, Choice Max. And so let's talk a little bit about how the new revenue management system is going to help us change the game. We wanted Choice Max to be where you are. And so Choice Max is going to be mobile first, meaning that you're going to have access to the information that you need from anywhere. And when it comes to information, Choice Max really makes it easy. It'll have customizable real-time mobile alerts and an easy-to-use interface, so it will deliver the information that you need in an intuitive way. We not only thought about how to make the system easy to use, but we also thought about how to provide you with the best information to guide your revenue management strategies. With Choice Max, you'll get frequent, real-time competitive pricing, so you'll have more data and insight into what the competition is doing. Choice Max will also give you intraday optimization, so prices for the next 14 days will be updated up to 4 to 5 times daily. And then lastly, Choice Max is going to give you the power of 365-day forecasting compared to the 90-day window of our current tool. So why does all this matter? It's because the system is really going to make it easier to manage your hotel and take advantage of every opportunity to drive revenue.
So Michelle, what I'm hearing from you is that our franchisees that are using Choice Max should really lean in and let the tool use all the data and the competitive pricing to really set their rates to help them drive top line revenue.
Absolutely, Robert.
So Doug, what are you hearing from our initial users?
Well, Robert, we had a really successful pilot, and what we heard from our pilot users is that they love the easy-to-use, simple design of the mobile application. This allowed them to adjust rates and know what was happening in the competitive marketplace throughout the day, no matter where they are in their hotel. Additionally, as Michelle spoke about, the intraday optimization is really allowing them to capture that last-minute booker that we're seeing as part of the pandemic's revenge travel.
So Michelle, we've heard from Doug, but you're on the front lines with many of our franchisees as you roll out the new system. What are you hearing from our franchisees?
So we're really happy with the responses that we've received so far. I'll share some feedback from Misty Mcmahon, who's the assistant GM of the Plantation on Crystal River and a Sun property located in Florida. The Plantation is a destination resort which offers outdoor adventures year-round. So demand patterns can be pretty dynamic, fluctuating by week, by season, by year. And so the increased forecast accuracy and 365-day forecasting window that Choice Max provides has really made it easier for her to manage the constantly changing demand at her hotel. Additionally, Misty has commented on how pleased that she is with the ease of use and the mobile-first nature of Choice Max, which really has allowed her team to stay on top of the pricing and really stay ahead of competition. So, overall, Choice Max has really been just what they've needed.
That's great. Really good to hear. But this is obviously a change in how our owners are operating prior. What are we doing to help them transition from Smart Rates to Choice Max?
Sure. So we know change isn't easy, and so we've heard this, and we know we don't want folks to worry. So with Choice Max, there will be 24/7 support for you. There will be customized training to really learn about the full potential of the tool in the form of videos, e-learning, job aids, and the training is all going to be available before you're activated on Choice Max. And so be sure to go in and complete the training before your hotel's transition date. Additionally, someone's going to be assigned to support you during the weeks before and after your activation date. So this will be your go-to person to help you configure the tool, as well as to answer any questions that pop up along the way. There will also be ongoing support in less than 2 clicks through our chat, support desk, support email, and help desk. And so one of the things that we're really encouraging is for you to share feedback with us as you start to get in and understand what works and where there might be opportunities for us to continue to refine and improve Choice Max. It's really important that you don't override rates. If there are questions about the pricing recommendations that Choice Max is making, please work closely with your support team so we can understand what adjustments may need to be made. Your feedback is what's brought us here. But the work isn't done yet. In fact, when Choice Max launches, it's 80% of the way there. The remaining 20% is going to be based on the feedback that we hear.
That's great. It really sounds like you guys have thought about just about everything to make this transition as smooth as possible for our franchisees. So Doug, it's refreshing to see that Choice continues to make significant investments in the success of our franchisees, even in the middle of the pandemic and a down economy. Talk to us a little bit about what other areas in marketing that Choice is investing in.
Sure, Robert. So personalization is really the name of the game today. And marketing is changing every day and only being accelerated by the pandemic. And I'm proud to say that Choice is investing in 2 new marketing technologies. First, a new email service provider, and 2, a new promotional tool. Combined, what they'll allow us to do is identify a unique customer and their travel intent. So this allows us to provide customized, tailor-made offers to them to drive higher conversion at lower discounting, essentially resulting in more customers at lower cost and driving more profitability to our franchisees.
That's great. Music to our franchisees' ears, I'm sure. Doug, let's turn our attention to the OTAs. Obviously, we know OTAs are important in the recovery for our hotels, but how do our hotels really manage that to get that non-loyal guest and keep an eye on costs that come through the OTAs?
Absolutely. So focus remains on continuing to provide incremental business at the lowest possible cost. And we continue to engage all our partners on that front. But in the meantime, we continue to expand our distribution partners and find new opportunities through niche players like Get a Room or Hotel Planner, and in order to find pockets of non-loyal guests out there. We've also expanded our relationship with Hotel Beds, the leading wholesaler. And this is critical. As the summer demand travel picks up, we're seeing a lot of new wholesale business out there, and this business is growing double digits. We've also made available some new marketing tools on the OTAs to ensure our hotels get proper exposure on their platforms without overly discounting their rooms. This allows them to drive more profit to their hotels.
Now, Doug, is that everything? I kind of feel like you're leaving something important out that our franchisees would find valuable.
Well, Robert, I don't want to jinx it, but we're extremely excited that by early summer, we'll be able to share some exciting news about one of our larger OTA partners. So stay tuned.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that, Doug.
Absolutely.
Let's talk briefly about business travel. We know that the leisure demand is starting to come back strong, but we also know business travel took a really hard hit, and it is unclear as to when that's going to return. What have we seen in terms of segments that are showing signs of recovery, and what are we doing to maintain and to grow our share?
So we have seen verticals such as logistics, healthcare, education, and construction continue to consume rooms throughout the pandemic. Now, as vaccination ramps up across the United States and the vaccination centers are being built, we're also seeing pharmaceutical business begin to return to our hotels. Additionally, we've been receiving a lot of information from our corporate partners about our commitment to clean. We also redeployed our sales team to focus on verticals that are still traveling, like healthcare staffing and education buyouts. As we look forward to the back half of 2021 and 2022, we recognize that many of our franchisees are focused on running their hotels. So to better support them, we shifted this year's RFP response to an opt-out, ensuring that they don't miss any opportunities as business travel returns. This is just another example of how we're trying to help them manage their hotels.
That's great news, Doug. But let's not forget about direct bill. Several of our franchisees have been asking for it. Where are we with this program?
I'm so glad you asked, Robert. We're actually beta testing a direct bill with some of our corporate clients right now, and we expect to have an automated solution to go live by early next year. Bringing this capability to centrally manage corporate invoices will not only save our hotels time and money, but it will also shift share from our competition.
It's great. So we've seen a strong response for our loyalty members throughout the pandemic to our offers, and we continue to get strong contribution. Michelle, what are we doing to make them come back and stay with us even more?
Sure. So we know that our loyalty program factors into our guests' purchase decision, especially for frequent travelers. So over the past few years, we've invested in choice privileges to ensure that it provides competitive benefits for our members. And that investment really paid off during the pandemic, because when the going got tough, our loyal members stuck with us. To maintain our focus on those loyal guests, as well as to shift share over from competing brands, last year, we not only decided to extend status through 2021, we upgraded our elite members to their next highest level. And then, as we thought about the changing nature of travel this year, particularly for guests who were traveling on business, we adjusted the elite qualification requirements to get people back into the game and striving for status. We know that business travelers need and want the perks that come with status. And so by adapting choice privileges to those changing travel needs, we're creating a program that is really appealing to those frequent travelers, which means more stays at your hotels. So if someone comes into your hotel and they're not a choice privileges member, please invite them to join so we can turn that one stay into a lifetime customer.
Well, as you can see, we're working hard for you. A special thanks to Doug and Michelle for joining me today. As we explored, Choice continues to invest on your behalf, whether it's a new revenue management system, Choice Max, promotional rate tools, email service provider, and the new feature we're looking forward to early next year, direct bill, to really drive that corporate business traveler when they start to return. All this is meant to help you manage your hotels more effectively, help you drive rate, and ultimately top-line GRR for your hotels. Please stay tuned for the announcement of a special brand editions of the Fireside Chats coming in May. You'll hear from leaders of our upscale, mid-scale, extended stay, and economy brands. Thank you for attending, and we look forward to a really strong summer